Hello, and welcome to the first edition of How to Not Lose at Poker. My name is Jim Chesbro, and I'm going to be walking you through some tips and tricks on how to not lose at poker. I just want to tell you how I came up with the name of this podcast. My friend Dave, hey Dave, I know you're listening. He didn't want me to use his last name, but he told me that the most important thing, not so much winning in poker, but it's what you don't lose. It's how not to lose in poker. So Dave inspired me to use that title for the name of my podcast. Thanks, Dave. I've been a professional for many years in Las Vegas, and basically you can be a beginner and get a lot from this. I'm not expecting you to understand a lot about the game of poker, but I do expect you to know hand rankings and the way the betting generally works. So maybe you have at least 30 to 100 hours at a live table before you can get any value out of my podcast. The topics are not going to be very advanced, but we just want to get people up to speed. And actually, it's a little more advanced than you would think, because winning with poker is not as easy as you think. So this is going to require some discipline, patience, and if you have any questions, feel free to call in. And we're going to have a little call-in segment of the show. Let's get started. I've got a hand right now. Okay, with this first hand, I've got pocket fours in the small blind, and I limp in. There's about 3 other players that had limped in. The flop comes out king 7-5 with 2 clubs. Everyone checks. The turn is a 4. So it's king 7-5 4, but now there's 3 clubs on the board. So heart, club, club, and then a club on the turn. So the flush gets there. I bet $8 on the turn into $15. And only the big blind calls. He's an older gentleman, not a very good poker player. He's probably in his mid-60s. The river was a 9, offsuit 9. So the final board is king 7-5 4 9. There's 3 clubs and a heart and a diamond. The third club got there on the turn. So I decided my hand was strong enough to bet. And I bet $12. And again, the pot was 16 plus 15. So the pot is 31. I bet $12 on the river, and the big blind raised me to $25, so it's 13 more to call. Okay, this is an interesting spot. I do not like the feeling of being raised on the river here. We are beat by a couple straights and flushes, and also hands like pocket kings, which is unlikely because it was not raised pre-flop, pocket 7s, pocket 5s, and pocket 9s. There's not too many good hands that this guy can be raising me with that we actually beat. We do beat hands like king 7, king 5, 7-5, king 9, all the 2-pair hands. But some of those are unlikely. If he flopped 2-pair, why didn't he bet? And so on. It gets really tricky here. The good news is we're only raised a very small amount. The price we're getting here is really good. So we can add it up. There's 15 pre-flop and 16 on the flop. So that's 31. And I bet the turn, I bet 12 into 30. So now there's 43 in the pot. So it cost me $13 to win $43. Okay, I'm getting a very good price here. I'm getting 3-1 on my money. We can talk more about what that means exactly, the significance of it. But I'm getting a good price here. I have a very strong hand, but it's very vulnerable to a lot of hands. So I called, and he showed me a flop 2-pair with king 7, and I won the hand.